take a look. The first match in the feature match area coming up, Mikko Airaksinen on Tameshi Belcher versus Esper Gorios in the hands of Jonny Guttman. 2 top finishes for each of these players, who each have an online top finish before today. Let's take a look at Mikko Airaksinen's road here to the top 8. Won 8 matches in a row to clinch his spot in the top 8 with 1 round to spare. There you see in round number 16. That is the bye that Mikko was awarded. Crucially, beat Jonny Guttman in round number 15 to lock up his spot here in the top 8. So this is something of a rematch here in our first quarterfinal. On the other side of things, Jonny Guttman's road went 6-4 overall in Modern, was one of our 6-0 drafters, so congratulations to Jonny Guttman there. But of course, lost to Mikko in round number 15, Corey.
Yeah, and I gotta say, you know, you look at rounds 4, 5, and 6 there, beat Belcher 3 times and only lost 1 game. So yeah, well, still doing okay, 3-1, but you know, the 1 loss is against the opponent. You gotta see again here right in the morning.
I know, walk me through these deck lists, Corey.
Yeah, so let's take a look first at Mikko's list here. That is the Belcher list. And Belcher versus Esper Gorios. Belcher was favored in this Pro Tour at 52% with an 80 match sample size, so very close. You know, this is going to be an extremely close match. Some of the changes here for Mikko with these main deck Stern Scoldings for the Psychic Frogs are going to come in handy. And yeah, just going to be a very close match. Force and Negation is going to be a big deal to be able to counter Gorios' Vengeance as well. Now let's take a look at Johnny's list here. Now, this is going to be the one big difference here. The fact that we're playing 2 pre-boarded game, I think is actually going to be bad for Jonny Guttman. As you have those 4 Solitudes, you have these prismatic endings that are really not that great. These are going to be cards you want to take out for Consigns, Mystical Disputes, Teferi's, those kind of things. So the post-board games get a lot better for Jonny, but unfortunately you don't get there until game number 3. So if Jonny can get out of here with a 1-1 record before the sideboard, I would say advantage to him. And 2-0, it's hard to be favored no matter what when you start 2-0, so yeah.
All right, so this could be a close one coming up. It's time for our first quarterfinal. I'm going to pass it on over to Marshall and Paul with the call.
Thank you, Maria, and welcome back to the booth here at Pro Tour Edge of Eternities. Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Cheon, and there's a real tension this morning down in the feature match area. A lot of nerves from some of our competitors down there, really trying to get into that flow. You know, what you usually see from these high-level players, Paul, is that the nerves come before the match, but once the cards start flowing, they kind of go away.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all these players have put thousands of hours into this game. So once you play, you're a little more relaxed, but kind of coming into it. I mean, if you look at this top 8 field, a lot of newcomers into this event. So a lot of those people, I mean, we even talked about it back in the green room where we just think, if it was our first time, I would be nervous too. I mean, I just wouldn't even know what to think about before the game started happening.
Yeah, I think the challenge that I would issue to myself is to try to enjoy this, right? Because you can get so caught up in the expectations and the hopes that you have of doing well that maybe you don't take that minute to look around and kind of go, this is pretty cool. We've got our first quarterfinal match lined up for you here. This is Mikko Airaksinen versus Jonny Guttman. These two faced off yesterday, and you heard Jonny say, he said, frankly, Mikko outplayed me badly.
Yeah, and that's, of course, not great, but of course, Jonny does have the opportunity to get some revenge here. He does still have a 3-1 record overall against Tameshi Belcher, so just has to kind of shake that off and kind of play his game. He's on an excellent team. They probably gave him a really excellent sideboard strategy for this matchup, so he should come fully prepared here.
Team Vents. I like that jersey. That's pretty cool.
Blue and red, too.
Yeah, and you see Jonny jumping up and down there. Again, that's just a way to get a little loose. You know, you see tennis players do that. And as you can see, well, Johnny's covering it for us there. Mikko does get to be on the play as the higher seed coming in. We're going to be playing a best 3 out of 5 match. That means that we're going to go for 2 pre-sideboarded games, and then any subsequent games after that will include sideboards. Let's get in to game number 1 with Mikko on the play. Can he pull it off again and defeat Jonny? He played really well yesterday to pick up the win, but as you mentioned, Paul, Jonny has really had the number of the Belcher deck over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, the important thing in game 1, Jonny actually just doesn't have a ton of disruption for the matchup because he needs to come in with a balance of ways to deal with the various aggressive decks that exist in Modern, for example, the Boros Energy decks. So he's got that Solitude Ephemerate combo, but that really does not do a whole lot in this matchup. Sure, it's a way to maybe get Tameshi off the battlefield, but in his sideboard, has access to a ton of good counter spells. So he's really going to want to get to that game 3. Corey mentioned it before. If you can go into game 3, 1-1, that's where you want to be. You have 6 or 7 counter spells in the sideboard that are very, very strong in this matchup.
You see Johnny was on a mulligan to 6 here on the draw, which is something to note.
But does have a Thoughtseize in hand. You see Mikko revealing Whir of Invention, can get that into play. Turn 3, very common play pattern here is to play Whir of Invention on turn 3. Go get that Lotus Bloom. Turn 4, slam a Goblin Charbelcher, activate it for the win. And Johnny, if you look, actually had the ability to play a turn 1 Thoughtseize here, but knowing, you know, I'm not really too concerned about what you do the first couple of turns of the game, so I'd rather use my fetch land to get a Surveil land to try to see. I mean, I have a Goryo's Vengeance in hand. Maybe I can get lucky. Maybe I can just go turn 2 Goryo's Vengeance by surveilling an Atraxa into the graveyard.
Yeah, sometimes you Thoughtseize yourself, too. Mikko also has the ability to see so many cards over, particularly turn 2, with the full set of 8 of these 2-mana creatures that help you dig. Mikko's hand makeup will change a lot over those first few turns.
Atraxa, 1 card too late, right? But you can Thoughtseize yourself, but Johnny actually not choosing to go for that. Going for a Thoughtseize here to try to disrupt Mikko's game plan here. Mikko does have a Disrupting Shoal, but does not have a 1-mana spell to try to counter this Thoughtseize. So Johnny has the option of either taking Goblin Charbelcher, which is of course the namesake of the deck. That's how you go off with the combo. Or you could just take the Whir of Invention, because that'll slow Mikko down significantly, because he's just not going to have the mana to be able to win on turn 4. But we've seen Mikko do this previously. It's like, I don't need to win turn 4. I can just play Goblin Charbelcher turn 4. If you can't kill me, I just untap, activate for the win.
That's right. It's a very consistent list, and it sort of feels like it's always applying pressure to you, where Johnny is in this situation where he needs to disrupt Mikko enough to not just die on turn 4, but he also still needs to enact his own game plan to get things moving forward. I mean, let's not forget, Johnny doesn't win on the spot if he gets to do the Goryo's Vengeance thing, but man, he'll draw 5 cards. Like, it's can give you the tools that you need to not die as well. So he can punch back, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Once you resolve an Atraxa or get a Gristlebrand into play, you're so likely to find a Thoughtseize, Consign to Memory, Force of Negation, something where when Mikko tries to go off on his turn, you'll have some disruption to be able to stop Mikko from comboing off.
See a Philology Archaeologist here for Mikko.
Mikko just choosing to get a land here, which also acts as a spell, which is the reason why you can pick something up with the Archaeologist.
Yeah, we see the Lotus Bloom there, but it looks like the window for that may have
turn closed. 3 Lotus Bloom, not quite as strong. And Johnny does have a nice play here. He does have the 1-2 punch here of warping in Quantum Riddler and has the Ephemerate in hand. Of course, he will be tapped out, but he will have a big threat in play and draw 2 cards. And, I mean, to be honest, he just doesn't really have any other play here, right? Looking at his hand, he just has a pair of Riddlers and a Goryo's Vengeance.
One card that, well, both players are going to be thinking about as well, especially if you're in Mikko's seat, is Consigned to Memory. Johnny actually does have one of those in his main deck.
Yeah,
and that's one of the few ways to nab a Goblin Charbelcher very easily.
Right. Very, very potent card in the matchup.
Because as it stands, Mikko did find a Charbelcher.
Can't play it next turn. I think all the cards, I don't know that he has a land that comes into play untapped.
Oh, okay.
Could. Let's take a look. I see a Jwari Disruption and, yeah, a pair of Jwari Disruptions as his mana sources. So currently does not have the ability, but does have Tameshi here. So you played Tameshi, and remember, he put the Lotus Bloom into the graveyard. So Johnny wants to find a way to kill this Tameshi here if he can.
And he's going to get a chance to see a bunch of cards here. Ephemerate
Okay, and you played Dwarf for turn?
Yeah, and he's playing the Ephemery here. He's like, I don't care about the 4 damage.
Right.
I just want to see an extra card here to try to find a way to kill this Tameshi. Now, he already did put a Solitude in the graveyard earlier. Can he find another one?
Looks like he found a bunch of lands.
Yeah, this is rough. Now, he does have a Surveil land.
Yeah, the archive.
Could try to Surveil perhaps an Atraxa into your graveyard. You could also warp in the other Quantum Riddler to see what you find. If you warp in the Quantum Riddler, you still have a white card in hand. And if you find a Solitude, you could exile the Atraxa to get the Tameshi off the battlefield.
Trigger.
Now, Johnny does know that Mikko has Disrupting Shoal
He did
in
see
hand,
it before.
and there's a lot of 2-mana blue spells in the deck, so oftentimes your Psychic Frogs or Goryo's Vengeances do get countered in this matchup. And if Johnny misses here, Mikko's going to have a ton of mana and can just play the Belcher here for the win. Johnny doesn't have a Force of Negation or any counterspell in his hand.
Once the Belcher's on the battlefield, it's 1 turn away, but what can Johnny do in between?
Yeah, and if Tameshi just is in play, you have access to, what, 12 mana here?
Right.
So
Mikko Airaksinen, game 1, has all the pieces set up. And Johnny just can't seem to find any way to interact.
yeah, does not have anything in hand. If Mikko just goes for it here, which I imagine he will, he's going to be up 1-0 here.
Mikko had an incredible run yesterday. That was day 2. Undefeated. Just rattled off all those wins.
I know, he was 5-3, so just really
Right.
didn't have many losses to give and just kind of ran the table. The Lotus Bloom shenanigans begins, right?
Yeah, and this is ridiculous.
So we have access to 5 mana from the Tameshi alone, and every land you pick up basically nets you 2 mana, right? Because you have to tap a white mana, you pick up a land, and you get a Lotus Bloom in play, which you can then sacrifice for 3 mana.
Do it. Tameshi target Lotus Bloom trigger.
Yeah, you're returning sync to hand?
Yes.
Right, and that's a nice counterspell effect as well.
Johnny's keeping track of what's going on in hand with Mikko, but honestly, it's what's on the battlefield in a minute here
Right.
that's going to be the real problem.
Yeah, and if you're on Mikko's side, he knows that he's in a really, really commanding position here, and what he's thinking about is, honestly, Force of Negation.
Yeah.
It's like, what can I do here to try my best to play around Force of Negation? And he's got Disrupting Shoal. He picked up Sink into Stupor. So now he has a Disrupting Shoal for 3. He's got the Tameshi in hand too. So
Right.
he can counter
So where the
1
third
Force
mana come
of
from?
Negation.
Top 3
Can he
force.
counter?
Okay, yes, yeah.
Can he deal with double Force of Negation?
Yeah.
He's at
These
that
are-
level?
Right, because he already has the answer to the first Force of Negation.
Yeah, and you see no blue mana available there, right?
Right, and given that Johnny hasn't played a Solitude off of the first activation on Tameshi, if you're on Mikko's side, you know that Johnny just doesn't have a Solitude in hand here.
So even if things stayed exactly how they are, Mikko has this game locked up even through 1 force.
Yeah, absolutely. But just, of course, we are in the top 8 of the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like you got it, you can make one small error. That can just be a complete disaster. We have seen it before. Now, also has a hydroelectric specimen in hand. So you can actually exile that to the Disrupting Shoal, and then if somehow you have enough mana, you could also have the ability to cast Sink into Stupor on Force of Negation. So if Johnny happens to have double Force of Negation, you can at least force him to have an additional blue card in hand to cast that for second Force of Negation again. So that's probably what's going through Mikko's mind.
And you see Mikko stacking up the blue mana here for just that reason.
And one thing too is Mikko needs to be mindful is, you might be thinking, oh, well, there's a Tameshi in play, and if he forces the Belcher, can't you get the Belcher back? Well, Force of Negation is an exile effect, so you need to make sure that the Belcher can absolutely resolve and not just get forced here.
All right, Mikko's going to play the Char Belcher. Johnny's ready to pick up his cards because he doesn't have any way once it's resolved, and there's enough mana left over for Mikko to pick up game number 1. This reminds me of yesterday. You know, it's methodical for Mikko. It's just one step at a time. And Johnny is more or less scrambling the whole game to try to find the disruption cards that he does have in the main deck and was unable to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's a reason why this deck is called Tameshi Belcher.
Yeah.
We've seen Tameshi just be so pivotal in just turning this deck on. It doesn't just need the Belcher to go. You don't just need to do Lotus Bloom Belcher and just try to win as quickly as possible. Tameshi, once you get that in conjunction with Lotus Bloom, I mean, you can just play so many spells in one turn where you can just kind of find all the tools you need and be able to fight through disruption.
Preordained here for Johnny, who once again finds himself on 6 cards. It looks like double bottom there. Also Mikko on 6 cards this time. Both players playing combo decks-ish.
Right. Yeah.
They have combos, but as you can see, they also have a lot of play to them.
And look at this.
Mikko's going to go untap land here.
Untap land has
Pay the iron price.
Right. Well, Mikko's list, especially because we are still in pre-sideboarded games, has a couple of copies of Stern Scolding in the main. So you want to be able to represent that to be able to counter potentially a turn 2 Psychic Frog that Johnny could play, one of the most powerful creatures in the deck. And then also does have 1 copy of Strict Serenade, which he could also potentially cast. So it's like, you know what? You can have the 2/2 bird here. No Psychic Frog for you. But Mikko is on 17, right? He did pay 3 life, and there is a 2/2, so Johnny has some pressure here.
Worked out well for Mikko, though. Definitely keeping that Psychic Frog off the table is well worth it.
Johnny digging here for a 3rd mana source here.
He even has the Ephemerate in his hand. Oh, and he doesn't find anything.
Yeah, and the thing, he couldn't cast the Faithful Mending either because he drew his basic Swamp.
Oh. Here's an Archaeologist now for Mikko.
Finds at least the land. Can't get Tameshi back. So it's only 1 target. You can only get Seagate Restoration. Johnny really needs to find a 3rd mana source, or that's the thing. He doesn't have a mana source or even any way to disrupt. Mikko does find Godless Shrine here and does have Quantum Riddler plus Ephemerate.
Hey,
so hey, that's
nice
something.
Clock
here.
in the air, yeah.
Johnny is just debating whether or not he should play out this Godless Shrine, but choosing to get a little more information by playing the Riddler first.
Draws his card off the Riddler.
But he's almost assuredly going to play that Ephemerate here, even if you find the Thoughtseize.
Untapped Godless Shrine. He actually found another land of Marsh Flats.
Yeah, this just puts so much pressure here.
Much better for Guttman.
Yeah,
boy. That
was good.
Yeah, that Godless Shrine was a nice rip. Oh, and he got a Solitude too.
Yeah. If you look at Mikko's hand, he doesn't have the Lotus Bloom, and Johnny is tapped out. I think if you're on Mikko's side, you just jam the Belcher here. You have a significant, there's a significant clock, right? I mean, Johnny's attacking you for 6. That's a 3-turn clock. So I think you just play the Belcher. It's like, I just hope you don't have Force of Negation here, and I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where the pressure that Johnny has been able to press on Mikko forces his hand. And it's funny because Johnny can't really back it up.
Yeah. One interesting line of play, actually, if you look at Johnny Guttman's hand, Prismatic Ending is pretty bad in the matchup. There is a breeding pool in Johnny's deck, right?
So there's he can actually get Belcher?
So you can actually kill the Belcher, but the problem is right now, the only land in Johnny Guttman's hand is a Marsh Flats.
Yes, he can't
You are incapable of getting breeding pool with that. So if Mikko just runs out Belcher here, Johnny can't kill it. He did, and he cannot kill it here.
But he can get it.
Flats.
But he has a top deck, and he has an ephemerate that he can issue some damage for.
Right.
If he feels that that's the play. Because interestingly, Mikko played an untapped land. That clock just went from 3 turns to 2.
Right.
But if Johnny decides to ephemerate, he will lose a turn.
So he needs a flooded strand or a polluted delta here. Or, of course, you can just naturally draw the breeding pool.
The breeding pool, too.
I feel like that's one of the only answers, to be honest, to actually deal with a resolved Goblin Charbelcher.
So perfect draw for him would be Force of Negation land that can get green.
Right, just to be able to protect through. Well, the thing is,
the second Charbelcher.
you can't force a negation on your turn though for free. So, but I know what you mean, because there's
I'm looking at the hands.
Right, because Mikko can then play another Charbelcher. Yes,
right.
You
So
are absolutely correct.
So you tap out, kill the thing, hit for 2, and then have 4. So just go perfect. Because the truth is that if Johnny does get lucky and hits one of those lands that can get the breeding pool, it's just going to be another Charbelcher. And this time Johnny, if he decides to ephemerate, will not have that 2-turn clock we talked about.
Right, yeah.
Where are we at here?
Not entirely certain. I imagine the Belcher has resolved unless Johnny's doing a little bit of posturing, but we know that if he had a force, he would just fire it off immediately.
Yeah, I think Mikko's probably thinking similar.
Right. Perhaps Johnny is thinking about what he can do with this ephemerate here. Like, do I want to put pressure on Mikko or do I want to draw the extra card? But I think he has to find the green source here to cast the prismatic ending.
Yeah, and he is going for it.
Okay, he missed, I think.
I know his facial expression did not look like somebody who hit.
And that is a Goryo's Vengeance.
Oh, and a Solitude. He just bricked twice.
Yeah, and this is brutal. And that Strict Serenade, you can see, did so much work, right?
It really did.
Because if the Psychic Frog was on the table, he could have pitched a Traxa and then Goryo's Vengeance that into play, which most likely would have also given him totally. Some additional mana here as well. So, yeah, this is brutal. That Strict Serenade, the one of, doing a lot of work here and not being able to get a breeding pool with Marsh Flats here is the difference here between a win and a loss in this second game.
Solitude away your Archaeologist.
Attack for 2?
And that is Marsh Flats. Oh, if only that could get a green source here. Or
and wait, he has Faithful Mending plus Goryo's Vengeance, right? But that's an attack for 9. Mikko is at 10.
So he can get him to 1.
You can get him to 1, but the thing is, Johnny, when you get a Traxa into play, Force of Negation doesn't do anything against the Goblin Charbelcher that's already on the battlefield. So I think he's just 1 damage short of lethal here.
Incredible. And Johnny's shaking his head because he realizes that exact same thing.
Wow, that is brutal.
Mikko has easy mode here.
Right.
He's like, well, either I get to untap with this Belcher or I don't. You know, let me know.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't know what the sequence of draws here. I don't remember what the sequence was for Johnny, but let's say he didn't ephemerate the Quantum Riddler and went Faithful Mending, Goryo's Vengeance, Atraxa, that would have been lethal.
Oh, that's right, because of the 4 power in the air.
This is going to be 1 damage short, I'm pretty certain.
Oh,
my
close.
goodness.
And of course, there's the Force, by the way. 2 of them. Yep, and he's going to scoop him up because Mikko Airaksinen picks up the first 2 games here against Jonny Guttman. Johnny just cannot seem to crack the puzzle of Mikko.
Yeah, I mean, that was rough. And if you're, I'm sure with Johnny, if you're at his spot, you're thinking, was there something I could have done different?
Yeah.
At some point, could I have fetched a breeding pool? But I don't think so, because he mulliganed and he led with the Delta. And when you're starting out the game, you need to make sure that you get your Esper colors first, right? Because you're an Esper deck. You only have the 1 random green source to, honestly, most of the time, just hard cast the Atraxa. So that probably didn't even cross his mind. But based on what happened, had he gotten the breeding pool, this could have been a different game.
Could have been a different game. Wow, crazy stuff there. Very compact, a lot of decisions in a short period of time, but ultimately Mikko picks up both games 1 and 2. He'll only need to win one more to advance to the semifinals. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have game 3. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to coverage here of Pro Tour Edge of Eternity's Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Chion. We're in Atlanta. We've got a MagicCon happening just outside of our studio here, but the real battles are in the feature match area here. We are at top 8 Sunday. We're in our first quarterfinal match. Mikko Airaksinen, impressive. This is a 2-0 start on the pre-board games, and he's put Jonny Guttman in the position of needing to win all 3.
Yeah, and well, if you're on Johnny's side, you kind of know that the matchup is probably slightly unfavorable in the pre-boarded games, but after sideboard, there's a lot more action coming in. We're talking about the full 4 copies of Consigned to Memory, Mystical Dispute, Surgical Extraction. So Mikko, it's going to be a lot more difficult because he has to pay attention to so many different counter spells to be able to fight through, to be able to win this matchup.
That's right, and we're going to see if Johnny can right the ship here. He's got to start by picking up game 3 right now. If he doesn't, Mikko's going to advance to our semifinal.
Johnny's hand very light on action, but does have a pair of Force of Negations, which is, of course, very, very powerful in this matchup, and then a V1 of Preordain. Very curious how they kind of came to that number, but
maybe it's a lucky card.
Yeah, I mean, it's never a bad card to play, right?
No,
especially
it's not.
in this type of deck. One interesting note for Mikko's side of things, sideboarding is always difficult when you are such a linear-focused combo deck, but did bring in some counter magic of his own, a couple of Mystical Disputes, a couple of Flusterstorms, and 1 copy of Tezzeret the Seeker. Interestingly enough, actually boarded out a pair of Lotus Blooms, not relying on that as heavily, especially because Jonny Guttman is bringing in, it looks like 2 copies of Teferi Time Raveler.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's, of course, just a total blowout. When Teferi is in play, you actually cannot cast Lotus Blooms that have been suspended, but it's important to still keep at least 1 or 2 copies of Lotus Bloom because you can search for them through War of Invention.
Both on top.
Both on top. Never a good thing to hear.
No, it's not what you want to hear when you're Mikko. Ooh, there's Teferi right there.
Oh, yeah. And Mystical Dispute. So I wonder if Johnny's just going to run out Teferi here or try to get to land number 4 because he did draw Mystical Dispute. So now now you can get to land number 4 and go Teferi with Dispute backup.
Slow going here for Mikko.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of tap lands.
Certainly a matchup where the post-board games go much longer just because everybody's going to have preparation here for Tameshi Belcher after sideboard, so the Belcher deck can't just go, all right, turn 4 Belcher, good luck.
Right.
Oftentimes, they're going to have an answer to that. Johnny on a Surveil here. Doesn't have the 4th land in hand. I'm wondering if he actually wants a 4th land. I think it's, would he take a 4th land here? And also, if it's a disruptive spell, he might just want to keep that on top too.
He kept it on top.
Okay. So maybe it is a land. No, it is a Psychic Frog with Mystical Dispute backup here.
Okay, so he can do that instead of
right.
Teferi.
But Mikko has a clean answer in hand though. Stern Scolding mostly has one target. Its name is Psychic Frog. Yeah. So
there's Psychic Frog going on the stack.
This is an extremely easy Stern Scolding here. And now
does
if you're
Johnny fight back?
Right.
This is a critical turn as well. Like, if he decides to fight and then Mikko goes a cool land Belcher, like you're kind of bummed. I mean, he does have a force of negation, but still.
Yeah, it looks like he's going for it here. I think maybe Johnny's thinking, I can't just do nothing forever.
Yes.
And by resolving the Psychic Frog, it puts so much pressure on my opponent, and it's just that important to try to resolve the spell. And he has force of negation if Mikko just chooses to go land, Belcher, go. In fact, double force of negation.
Yeah, this is a great setup for Guttman. Finally, some forward progress from him. I mean, he was so close to winning that game, too. He was like a land type off or 1 damage off.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and Johnny's got to feel super safe here with double.
Where'd the frog go?
With double force of negation. The frog got countered through the Stern Scolding.
Did not see that.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to fight with the Mystical Dispute.
I think did he not?
Oh, he got forced. He got force of negation.
Oh, he has a
back.
second Mystical Dispute in hand. Okay. I'm like, he still has a dispute in hand, but yes.
He did cast it, but Mikko had force.
But the dispute has been exiled because it got forced.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I wrote down 3.
So Johnny's in a decent spot here.
I wrote what you said, and I believe.
Yeah, I must
and
have,
I mean, it also
when
shows what you were
me.
saying, by the way.
When you bolted yourself, I wrote it on my own life total.
Yeah.
That's why. Okay.
That frog was super, super critical.
Right.
Worth a full-on counterfight.
Yeah, especially with force of negation backup here.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely that Mikko can resolve a Belcher here through double force of negation.
I'm saying that Mikko decided to force back, right. to keep that
recognizing
frog off.
how important the frog
like
is.
everybody was like, hey, this frog,
yeah.
this is going to be a game changer on this board.
Yeah, and Mikko's considering it here. He was like, I can just play Sink into Stupor and just run out the Belcher. Should I do that?
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny can have such a strong follow-up, though. You go to Teferi, bounce Belcher, right? That is really, really strong with more force of negation backup. So Mikko could choose to play it slower here and just run out Thundertrap Trainer, play a land. Can't force that either. And we do see a Lotus Bloom.
I hear Graveyard. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Lotus Bloom, again, might just feel a little bit too slow. Also leaves yourself vulnerable to Teferi Time Raveler. Has a War of Invention already to go get a Lotus Bloom if he wants at some point. But chooses to get it because it does put some pressure on Johnny. Once you get this going, you can't kind of play that draw-go game. It forces Johnny to put some pressure on the battlefield, play some cards. Of course, we know that Johnny does have the Teferi in hand.
We see untapped land here from Airaksinen as well. He has Jwari Disruption in
He
hand.
does.
Could be really annoying.
I mean, Johnny doesn't have land number 4 currently in hand. So
No.
if he goes to Ferry and Mikko just goes Jwari Disruption,
Oh.
that's going to be brutal.
And yeah, he drew a second copy of Atraxa, so he doesn't actually have the land. He won't have Dispute up, so he's just going to pass the turn back with Force and or Dispute available.
Yeah. And heads up from Johnny, too, not actually running out the Teferi into the 2 open
Very
mana.
good. And I mean, Mikko signaled it to a point,
Right.
right? He took 3 damage to keep that up.
But could easily be bluffing.
Right, with
a
no
2-mana
board state at
counterspell.
all. Yeah.
All right, Johnny's got a ton of disruption, but no pressure.
And no
Just-
land this time, but he did find a Thoughtseize.
Found a Thoughtseize, so could run that out. Plays around the Jwari Disruption. I think he's going to play it. It's like
It's valuable info, too.
Right. You have to just kind of put all the pieces together. Mikko is representing a Jwari Disruption, so it's kind of rough to run out the Teferi. If you play Thoughtseize, you still have Mystical Dispute up and double Force of Negation for the following turn.
Yeah, and also nothing changed from last turn significantly, and he decided not to play Teferi last turn, so to be logically consistent, you would do the same play here, so Thoughtseize.
Yeah, and this is tough now for Mikko because he has a Word of Invention. He can't counter this, of course, so he can either just choose to get a Lotus Bloom here, but if he does, there is no Goblin Charbelcher, right? Because that's going to be taken here out of Mikko's hand.
Yeah,
is there a world where you can wait and not cast a Word of Invention and maybe just cast it for 4 once the Lotus Bloom comes off? It's a lot of mana and a lot of resources, but right now, it's not like Mikko has a ton to work with here. Now, remember, if Goblin Charbelcher does go into the graveyard here, if Mikko does find a Tameshi at some point, you could get that back into play. It would be very expensive, but he does even have the white mana in play, right? He has actually, there's 2 blue-white lands in the, 4 copies of the blue-white land, 2 in play, so you can actually cast the Tameshi. Even without Lotus Bloom, you can actually return the Goblin Charbelcher back in play if he finds a Tameshi.
He decides ultimately not to do anything and just let Thoughtseize resolve.
Right.
Probably assuming that Johnny is kind of forced to take the Belcher that's already in hand.
Yeah, another really nice thing about taking the Goblin Charbelcher is Jonny Guttman brought in 2 copies of Surgical Extraction out of his sideboard. So if the Belcher is in the graveyard, if you ever find a Surgical Extraction, I mean, Mikko's only path to victory then is Thundertrap Trainer,
Tameshi
beatdowns. We've seen it before.
Yes.
But it is a lot harder against a deck that's trying to that's got Psychic Frogs and is trying to put Atraxas into play. But Johnny with back against the wall, down 2-0, still taking his time, thinking about all the combinations of draws that Mikko could play off the top. If I take the Belcher, what if he whirs for 0? He has a ton of mana. What if he top decks a Belcher? I mean, if you think about it, at least from this point, though, Johnny is fairly safe, given the fact that he has double Force of Negation, Mystical Dispute, and double Atraxa. The thing that he might be most concerned about is possibly a Tameshi off the top, because you can't force that one, right? You can't force a negation to Tameshi.
Right.
You can Mystical Dispute it. But those are the things that's going through Johnny's mind right now. Mikko also plays a singular copy of Hope of Girapur.
Oh.
Which is something that you could also potentially search, and I wonder if Johnny's a little bit concerned about that as well.
He took the whir.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he's just going to lean on these Force of Negations. Taking the instant speed card means that Mikko is forced to just tap 4 mana to put a Belcher in.
Right.
And Johnny knows that he has that covered currently. The missed land drops are starting to add up for him, though. It's getting a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
He can't really tap out at any point.
But now that he has perfect information, perhaps now he can just maybe just play a land, just wait till he finds land number 4, and then just run out to Ferry.
Right.
It'd be a great time to draw land too, because Lotus Bloom currently sitting at 1. Mikko with a Strix Serenade.
Strict Serenade off the top, so he just chips in for 1 and then passes the turn back to Johnny.
And interestingly enough, does not go for the Belcher.
A third Force of Negation now for Guttman.
Wow.
He actually could, he has enough cards and blue cards to just cast 3 forces in 1 turn for free.
Yeah, because Mikko just knows. It's like, you're not going to do all this stuff. Like, I am going to play around at least 1 Force of Negation here. So I know the coast is not clear here for me to just run out Belcher.
And Johnny's actually going to fight over the Lotus Bloom.
Yeah, and the very important thing here, obviously counting a Lotus Bloom is strong, but he wants to exile it so that Tameshi would not do anything if you drew it.
The other Lotus Bloom for Mikko.
Right.
Plan A.
13 turn clock.
Thunderclap Pete's.
All right. And by the way, that is the only other Lotus Bloom in Mikko's deck after sideboard. He's got 2. So if somehow this one also gets exiled in some way, maybe it gets consigned and just permanently stays exiled, then Mikko won't have that Tameshi explosive 15 mana play around everything type turn.
Another Thoughtseize. Not a land still, but another Thoughtseize for Guttman.
And this will resolve. You can either take the Strix Serenade so that you can maybe safely try and resolve your Teferi, or just take the Belcher.
Yeah, still thinking about that Belcher in the graveyard plan for Johnny.
Strix Serenade counters a wide variety of cards. There you go. Does not counter instants, though, so you can't really use it in a counter war to be able to, you can't treat it like a negate type effect.
Right.
But it can counter Teferi. And yep, taking the Strix Serenade here, recognizing that, look, I need to get something going here. I'm also at 9 life. This trainer is still attacking me. I really want this Teferi to resolve.
It's got to be annoying here for Guttman at some point. He's got to leave up mana to pay for Jwari Disruption even on his free spells.
How good draw
is that
here.
Tezzeret the Seeker?
Tezzeret the Seeker, extremely strong. I wonder if now Mikko's thinking, all right, I got to try to run through some of these counters at some point. Which one do I want to try to bait the counter with? And it starts with Tezzeret the Seeker. Mystical Dispute is an excellent way to deal with this.
Wow. Old school Tezzeret. I like that.
And now if you're on Mikko's side, given how much time Johnny's thinking through this, you kind of have to put him on another counter, right? Like multiple counter options here. So just have to be mindful of that as well. It's like he probably has a Force of Negation, and certainly not a Consign, because that wouldn't even be able to counter the Tezzeret.
Okay, the way is clear. Is it time for Teferi?
Yeah, he drew a Psychic Frog too.
Yep. Plus. Go.
He's going to go for Teferi plus it and pass to turn back. And as you see, the Lotus Bloom is down to 1. That means that if that Teferi's on the battlefield, Lotus Bloom will not be able to be cast off of spend.
Right, Teferi getting hit, and I think Mikko's just going to try the Belcher now. It's going to hit the Force.
Immediately forced, and of course Teferi means there's no fight even possible.
Yeah, and
not
then
that Mikko had it anyway.
And then next turn, Johnny can run out the Psychic Frog. If he draws a blue spell, he can play Psychic Frog and still keep up Force of Negation. And he did.
He did, and it's even a redundant Teferi Time Raveler.
Right, so this is big. This one's looking very, very good here for Johnny Guttman. Teferi on 5, Thunder Trap Trainer can't take it down. No Lotus Blooms
and
for
it's
the
just
rest
exiled,
of this game.
Right?
Yeah, it is exiled. You cannot cast it. The way Lotus Bloom reads is once the last counter is exiled, you may then play it. But if you can't play it, it just permanently stays exiled.
So no Tameshi nonsense.
No Tameshi nonsense. The only thing you can do with that is, you know, if you can somehow mail a Goblin Charbelcher or something, you can return that to the battlefield.
Or in this case, perhaps it's just turning it sideways, as we kind of joked about before.
Right. But Johnny with so many counter spells in this game, so many good reactive spells. That is a Gristlebrand. That one not doing anything just yet, but of course we are just one Goryo's Vengeance away from Johnny being able to completely take over the game.
And you would assume that that would lock up this game for Guttman if he can find, you know, a way to draw 7 at some point here.
And Johnny will be giving the Psychic Frog wings and also shortening the clock by discarding the Gristlebrand, because you're going to do that anyways.
That also guarantees him getting a card off of the frog.
Right.
Which he did.
And yeah, I mean, now Mikko is just in an extremely tough spot. Doesn't even have the mana here to whir for Goblin Charbelcher. Can't even cast it though, because Teferi is in play. You have to just main phase it.
And look at that, he minus Teferi and found Goryo's Vengeance too.
Yeah, I think Johnny is going to get this one here. Mikko's only play is just main phase War of Invention here.
Yeah.
And Johnny has the Force of Negation.
He's got the force for it, and Johnny even actually has lethal.
Yep.
With Goryo's there too. So that is going to be game number 3 going to Guttman. And did you see that fist pump from him?
Oh, he is pumped.
That is relief.
Right.
That is, okay, I can actually beat this guy. Because yesterday he couldn't, and then he lost the first 2 games today. He's got to be thinking like, I can play. Like this is a good matchup for me.
He played that game very well.
And he, you know, in the rest of the field, he had a good matchup against Belcher. It's just been Mikko that's had his number.
Also, nobody wants to go down 3-0. You know what I mean? True. It's like, at least I put up a fight, right? And he put up an excellent fight here. But Mikko finally, with a turn 1 Lotus Plume here, does,
well, no second land?
No second land. Now, does have a lot of interaction, does have Flusterstorm, Force of Negation, and also Tameshi to go with that Lotus Plume. So if he can win a counter war, to try to get Lotus Bloom in play and maybe play an extra land here. We've seen Tameshi, you know, even on what looks like very few resources, just completely take over the game.
Absolutely. All of a sudden they have 12 or 15 mana.
Right. And by the way, Mikko mulligan. So, I mean, you mulligan down to a hand that has everything, right? With 1 land and a Lotus Bloom, you got to keep that.
1 land, Bloom, Belcher, and some disruption.
And some disruption as well. But Johnny got double dispute, Force of Negation. So going to be very, very difficult here for Mikko to fight through all of that. Now, of course, you can't, pretty hard to Mystical Dispute the Lotus Plume unless you pay the full 3. Ooh, but no.
But there's no lands here for Airaksinen.
This is getting a little dicey here.
Dispute's looking really good here.
Yeah, and Johnny probably going to play an untapped land here is my guess, given that he's got both Tainted Indulgence and Faithful Mending in hand.
Keep all of his options open.
Really would like to be able to, you know, play a Psychic Frog, for example, with Mystical Dispute backup, or just find Thoughtseize to be able to see what Mikko's working with.
Are we going to see a counter war over that Lotus?
Possibly. Mikko has been aggressively countering the Lotus Blooms and probably looking to Force of Negation that if he can. All right, Tainted Indulgence. Prismatic Ending.
That's also kind of interesting.
And Atraxa. I imagine we'll see an Atraxa get discarded here. But perhaps Prismatic Ending could be another option.
Mikko with just 1 land is in a tough spot here.
Okay, actually discarding the Prismatic Ending here. Atraxa notably is another blue spell, so you can use that to pitch to the Force of Negation. Oh, and finds Thoughtseize.
Wow.
This hand is incredible at disrupting Mikko here. Now you have Thoughtseize with double Dispute and Force of Negation, and Mikko's on 1 land. Yeah, I imagine Johnny is going to look to run out this Thoughtseize here. Oh, actually just choosing to wait. And okay.
Yeah, he does. He really wants that thing exiled.
Right. He wants to fight a counter war for the Bloom, especially because Mikko's been missing land drops. And I feel like Mikko wants to also fight back because he really needs this Lotus Bloom in play to be able to do anything with his hand. Is he okay with this?
Wow, he just lets it happen. So he just needs to rip a bunch of lands in a row.
Only has a land here. Okay, did find one here. That's big because now he gets to play Phalagi Archaeologist or Thundertrap Trainer, which will very likely find him another land.
That was a big draw there for Mikko.
Now Johnny's thinking, well, he's missed land drops before. Do I just want to dispute this? Because another reason to counter this, not only will this card get Mikko a land, but prevents having a creature on the battlefield for Flare of Denial, right? Because that's another free counter spell that Mikko could have in hand. And Johnny with lots of disruption, but no action, right? Nothing to actually pressure the Mikko. Really wants a Psychic Frog, possibly even a Riddler.
Graveyard.
Solitude goes into yard, and now, yep, we do see Mystical Dispute on the trainer. This is shaping up to be one of those games where Johnny has an answer to like basically everything Mikko tries.
Right.
He's 2 for 2 so far.
But without any pressure.
Yes.
Mikko can just keep waiting and waiting and waiting and drawing cards and just try to sculpt the perfect hand to be able to still go off. I do not think Mikko will Mikko go for a Force of Negation here? Oh, it looks like he is. Okay. And of course, Johnny does have Mystical Dispute here.
Yeah.
Probably going to fight back here. Although that's the last form of disruption here, right, from Jonny Guttman. But if you think about it, it's like, okay, if I counter this back and then the Thoughtseize resolves, he's got 2 lands in play with only 3 cards in hand. If he's got a Tameshi, I can just take the Tameshi. And even if Mikko has some Belchers in hand, he's still 2 turns away from casting those. All right.
13.
So it has the choice between, I mean, all 3 cards, very, very relevant here. The Archaeologist will help Mikko find mana sources for the Belcher, but of course you can just take the Belcher and put Mikko very far away from comboing off.
You can see Johnny's game plan. He has Faithful Mending plus Grizzlebrand in hand.
Yeah, because if you take the Flusterstorm, then you have a higher chance of being able to go Faithful Mending, put my things in my graveyard, Goryo's Vengeance, and Mikko won't be able to interact. But because you know about the Flusterstorm, you can just kind of wait and make sure you can just pay for the Flusterstorm. And he does take the Belcher.
That just put him miles away from actually comboing off.
Yeah, I'm at 13.
Also, we've talked about it before, but there's Surgical Extraction in the deck here for Guttman, and now there is a Belcher in the yard.
Right.
That is kind of right where you want it.
And this will resolve.
Was the draw there from Mikko, but he does have an Archaeologist. He's going to have to grab a land here, I assume.
Finds a land here. I think that's a Jwari Disruption that he can get back. There's a Disrupting Shoal, but given the hand, I don't think that's what he's going to be looking for here. You can't even counter a Goryo's Vengeance with the cards in your hand, so just found a land here.
I think so. Sure.
We're just choosing which card to get back as a land. And takes the 3, can represent the Flusterstorm here.
14, 11. Mending.
So does he want to fluster this?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Slow you down, but
it has flashback.
It does have flashback.
And we may, if he draws a land here, he may just go for it now.
Right, there's the Grizzlebrand.
Because he already has the Grizzlebrand. And he can find a Goryo's.
Right.
He doesn't have anything else going on. And getting a Grizzlebrand now would just be devastating.
Right, or just finding a Psychic Frog. Right.
Right.
So I think you just go for it here just to put something in play. No reason not to. Leave up a, looks like a black-white with the blue in hand. All right, Faithful Mending flashback. Jonny Guttman find a Goryo's Vengeance here. Godless Shrine and a Marsh Flats. Probably pitching the Gristlebrand. The Marsh Flats, again, can't get Breeding Pool. I don't know how many prismatic endings were left in, but wouldn't have the ability to ending a Charbelcher.
It's interesting. Chat's pointing out that the Floggy Archaeologist can't actually get
because it's a creature,
the
right?
hydroelectric specimen because it's a land on one side and a creature on the other, and that's the things it can't get.
Yeah, you know,
and that got the untapped.
I thought that, but I wasn't
sure. You didn't want to commit. Yeah, no, I hear you. It's 2 cards to look up to double check too, and it was kind of a key moment.
Yeah, no, that's actually very, very big. And
yeah, and that gave him that Flusterstorm.
It did. It absolutely did. And now Mikko has the ability to Whirve Invention, get a Lotus Bloom here. Jonny can fetch here for a Surveil land, just try to find something relevant. Oh, maybe it has all the Surveil lands in play already. And so just thinning out the deck at this point.
Wow. Guttman just on nothing.
Yeah, Hydroelectric Specimen. Now, Floggy Archaeologist gets non-creature spells from the graveyard.
Non-land, non-creature.
Right. Non-land, non-creature. But most of the time you can get a land because most of your lands are spells except for Hydroelectric Specimen.
Still in my instep.
All right. Well, I mean, now we're looking at Mikko with 6 mana here. Jonny actually just has nothing.
He's just on nothing.
So if Mikko just top decks Charbelcher and just tries to play it out over the course of 2 turns, he's just going to have it, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Charbelcher is just now completely an out for the win here. And even a Tameshi would be a really good draw, too. And look at this. I mean, Jonny had a hand with tons of removal. Mikko Airaksinen was stuck on 1 land for 3 turns, but without pressure. Mikko's still able to just find the pieces here that he needs and is still in a position here to potentially turn this around and win the game. Jonny on just whole lands here.
Wow, just flooding out.
Could almost have hard cast that Gristlebrand at this point.
It was a Flusterstorm off the top for Mikko, so he passes the turn.
Yeah, Jonny really, really needs a Psychic Frog here. Got the Breeding Pool now.
Got the Breeding Pool ready.
We are now he can, if he just top decks Atraxa, he can just cast it.
That's wild.
He can just cast it.
There are worse things to do.
Atraxa one time.
I mean, how many lands are even in Jonny Guttman's deck? He's fetched a ton, surveilled a bunch, put a few in the graveyard.
That's so much smarter. That's maybe too.
Only interesting thing about my text.
And now if Jonny Guttman finds a Goryo's Vengeance, Mikko could potentially sacrifice the Lotus Bloom and just you don't see this often, but you could hard cast Disrupting Shoal for 2.
Oh, and it was a Atraxa off the top for Jonny Guttman. That is the perfect card to find, and he windmilled it on the table, too.
The actual best possible card.
Wow.
After all those lands.
That is wild.
Oh, my goodness. Planeswalker land instant already chosen. Now has to decide between Psychic Frog or Quantum Riddler. Or a second Atraxa.
Oh, a second Atraxa is interesting, too. Because you could just hardcast another one.
Right, because again, just top decking the Atraxa was way better than top decking the Goryo's Vengeance.
That's crazy. He's going to go with Riddler this time.
All right.
And Mikko will not have enough mana even with a Belcher here, right?
Right, but if he can just play the Belcher.
If he top decks it.
Right, but Johnny has Teferi Time Raveler to bounce the Belcher.
Bounce the Belcher. And that would cost the Bloom at this point as well.
Right.
But
he wants a Tameshi maybe?
He did draw Carbon Char Belcher. That is wild.
My gosh. 1 mana short.
But he
here.
knows about the Teferi. He just put it into hands.
Well, that's the issue because the Atraxa found a Teferi here. It could have also found Force of Negation, of course. But yeah, Mikko Airaksinen is 1 mana short of just taking this down.
I can't believe that.
Oh my goodness. And also note that the Flusterstorm would not counter Teferi as it targets instants or sorceries.
I'm at 14.
Yeah, and that's the other problem for Mikko is that he's at 14 life, and that is a 2-turn clock.
Wow, just the back and forth here. This is tough. I mean, we saw in an earlier game, Jonny Guttman 1 point of damage short now. And now we're looking at Mikko with 1 mana short of moving on to the semifinals.
And he knows about the Teferi, so if he goes, okay, play Belcher, get cracked in the air, it's just, there's no point.
Yeah, and once Johnny untaps here, it's going to be so hard. You have to fight through Consign to Memory here as well.
Right. Right.
That is difficult.
And he knows about that too, by the way.
And he
drew Thoughtseize so he can take a little peek.
Oh my. So with the Thoughtseize though, Mikko can, I suppose, hard cast Disrupting Shoal for 1. Right? To counter the Thoughtseize.
Mikko's shaking his head. He knows how close this was.
Yeah, super close. Johnny looking to get a little more information, maybe looking to warp out the Riddler here.
Yeah, that, or, you know, he also could just start with Teferi.
Yeah,
that would clear the way for the Thoughtseize.
If Teferi resolves, yes. And if anything, you can actually Teferi tick up and then draw step, instantly cast Thoughtseize to get perfect information. Right.
I like how you think, Paul.
I like playing sorceries at instant speed.
Yeah, might be what we see here, actually.
Yeah, because you can or alternatively, you can go Teferi, bounce Lotus Bloom, right? And then just play Thoughtseize, and Mikko just has not nearly enough here.
Yeah.
But it looks like we're going
Mikko
to be
can't do anything.
It looks like we're going to be moving to a Game 5 here.
Wow, what a game. Mikko just... Oh, could he Disrupting Shoal?
He could.
But he would lose the Bloom.
He would lose the Bloom.
He probably figures he's going to lose the Bloom anyway.
I think he's just hoping, I mean, I don't even think what he's hoping, because he also knows that Jonny Guttman has a Consign to Memory. Now, keep in mind, though, and Johnny can replicate the Consign to Memory, so you can't just Disrupting Shoal the Flusterstorm to counter the Consign, right? Because you can just replicate it and double target.
Right. And the mana advantage for Johnny is profound at this point. I mean, he flooded out late game, but Mikko missed his second land drop. I mean, it was a while ago. Oh, okay, and look what Johnny's actually put together here. And he showed him, he said, you got me, but...
1 land short.
Yeah, that was actually lethal there for Jonny Guttman. He got back a Grizzlebrand, and with the Atraxa, that's enough to kill Mikko Airaksinen. That means we're going to get a Game 5.
And guess
Johnny's trying to pull the reverse sweep here.
He is trying. Now, Mikko is on the play here again. And one thing that we didn't see before, he did bring in 2 copies of Harbinger of the Seas, which, Mikko rather.
Okay.
Which can potentially disrupt Johnny's mana here.
Pretty significantly.
Yeah. I mean, Mikko's deck is all islands, right? Doesn't care.
He's effectively mono blue. The only white that you see there is for Tameshi, but usually they get that white off the Bloom anyway.
And Johnny off a mulligan this time.
Thundertrap Trainer resolves.
So Flusterstorm, Disrupting Shoal.
Ooh, but Johnny does have a Psychic Frog.
Yeah.
And he will be able to resolve it?
He will,
Yeah.
but he has 0 disruption right now.
Oh, boy.
In his hand. Now, of course, once you get the Frog going with the Riddler and maybe the Faithful Mending, you can find a Thought Seize or a Force of Negation. Oh yeah, Mikko does have Harbinger. Mikko's hand is fantastic.
Yeah, that is
that's a turn. You can play Harbinger of the Seas next turn. You have Flare of Denial.
Are we going to see Flare?
I think we will, probably.
Like now? Because it's felt like both players have very much valued the Psychic Frog in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean,
it is the annoying card for Mikko.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's going to go ahead and flare it immediately. And as we see, Johnny does not have a way to fight back. So
yeah, Johnny really needed that Frog in play to kind of get the ball rolling here, because now, I mean, look at this.
This is scary stuff for Johnny.
Mikko can play Harbinger of the Seas next turn. Johnny Guttman has a Polluted Delta in hand. He's going to have only islands, and the only thing he's going to be able to do is warp in a Quantum Riddler. And I don't know if Johnny anticipated Harbinger of the Seas, because he's just been getting dual lands here.
It does not feel like Johnny is prepared for what is about to happen.
This is so
There's
brutal.
Harbinger of the Seas.
This is so
And Johnny
brutal.
takes a little pause there because that is rough.
Yeah, because when that happens, you're like, could I have fetched the basic?
Right.
You always think that.
That's where you think, like, was I supposed to get a swamp here?
Because there is a swamp and a plains in this deck.
And Johnny is smiling and nodding and shaking his head.
Now, the deck does play Solitude, and I'm curious how many copies of that he kept in.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is an answer. So if he can warp in the Riddler, maybe he can find something. What's actually interesting is he drew, naturally, the basic swamp. So that's one step in the right direction. He needs, of course, the white source as well, but that was a really good draw.
So he does have access to black mana. He does not have access to white mana currently.
Right, so can cast Faithful Mending, can cast Prismatic Ending, or that Teferi.
His hand is white mana heavy.
Now the question is, if you're Mikko, do you just jam the Belcher? And he goes for it, and Johnny has no interaction.
Wow, this is a great read from Mikko. He's just going to slam it, and Johnny says, you got it.
I mean...
So he needs to find a plains here?
He needs to find natural play. Oh, he found Solitude.
He did find Solitude.
You can Solitude the Harbinger, and then you play Teferi to bounce the Belcher.
Wow.
And I think he's got 1 or 2 Solitudes after sideboard.
Ripped Solitude
Really big draw
turn?
here.
Are you kidding me? Like, this game was over.
It was completely over. Even when you saw Johnny nod, Belcher resolved, there was
GG.
almost a look of defeat in his eyes. And he just drew the perfect answer outside of course, just plains. In fact, even better.
Even better? Yeah, because he gets his mana this way for future turns.
Actually, what he can even do is Solitude, exile the other cards. You can Prismatic Ending the Belcher because he has a Polluted Delta. You can use that to get Breeding Pool and actually cast Prismatic Ending to just permanently get rid of the Belcher so that Mikko can't replay it.
Okay, so that part worked.
You're going to have to tell me after the game if you ripped it there.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yes, Mikko, he did. You're going to have to tell me after the match if you just ripped that there.
Of course he did.
Yeah. I guess there's a chance that he had it in his hand and didn't have another white
Goes
spell.
for the Teferi here.
This also keeps the cards flowing for him.
Oh my gosh, what a draw from Jonny Guttman.
That
Mikko
was the top
had
deck of
the
the
win.
tournament for Johnny, because we actually get to play a game now. He's not guaranteed to win.
He's had a couple of good ones,
but
right?
That was really good.
Atraxa in game 4. Solitude here.
It is interesting too, Paul. Remember when we were talking coming into the match about the nerves and stuff, and we were noticing that from Johnny? Look at his life total pad. He has 2 notes to himself: breathe and have fun. Which is like, that's what I was talking about.
No,
right?
that's
you need to be
big.
able to take yourself out of the moment and enjoy it.
No,
and I love seeing that from
That
Johnny.
is incredible that he has that on there, because
I
you
would
know
write
that
that
he's
too.
nervous, and he needs to do something, anything in his power to stay focused.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so we see the Charbelcher hit the battlefield again.
Right, but Johnny this time. He couldn't play the ending on game 2. He does have the mana this time. With this polluted delta, just get the breeding pool.
Right. You
Blue,
think Mikko's
black,
going to know?
white, green.
You think he's going to know when he sees the pool here?
Oh, he's searching. There's only one. There it is.
Mikko's like, wait, oh no.
Yeah.
And then the mental acrobats you do, you know, when you're Mikko, you're like, well, maybe he's just setting up for an Atraxa later.
Right. And here's the thing, too. I mean, Mikko drew Force of Negation. Doesn't do anything. There's a Teferi in play.
Oh, wow. Wow.
What a
this is
turnaround.
Incredible.
What a turnaround.
That
Now,
Harbinger looked like it was going to lock it up.
Now, here's the thing, though. Mikko does have a backup here, right? You have to think, okay? Now, Johnny has the answer for the Belcher. Mikko has Tezzeret the Seeker. You can play Tezzeret the Seeker. Go get yourself another Belcher.
It does just turn itself into a Belcher if you want.
And Johnny doesn't have another answer here, right?
I don't think so. He's tapped out.
Oh my gosh, can we
Can
find
Mikko
another
still have a
prismatic ending?
chance here?
We're reading.
You can -4 that to just get the Belcher into play. You got to pay a premium, but it does give you access to another Belcher.
He will
And he's gonna do
100%
that.
get a Belcher here. How many prismatic endings are left? Can Johnny find another one here?
Another Teferi.
Another Teferi would delay things as well. Oh my gosh, what a game.
Is Mikko going to fight through all of this? I mean, he had that huge lead at the beginning of the game with the Harbinger, and he watched this game basically fall apart in front of him. He is still here.
Yeah, Johnny did not have the Force of Negation for that Tezzeret, so now Johnny on the back foot here again, needs to rip something here for this Goblin Charbelcher.
Draw your card. Does he find an answer?
That's an Atraxa.
So,
Okay, so you have Faithful Mending.
wait,
Faithful Mending into Goryo's Vengeance.
so what can he get mana-wise? Because he can get an Atraxa into play right now.
Yeah, he can, but
he'll
I'm
only
trying
have
to-
one mana.
He'll only
left
have
over?
one mana available, and I don't think there's anything. There is no Pithing Needle or anything along those lines.
Right, Consign can only counter triggered abilities not activated. If you
Right.
could get it into hand, it could counter the Belcher itself. But that ship has sailed.
And there is no free spell that just gets the Belcher off. And you can see there, Consign can trigger Belcher when you try to cast it, right?
You
Because
cast
it's
it.
a colorless spell, but the triggered ability, it would not count. There is no triggered ability here.
And he just shook his head. I think he doesn't. And there's the Force of Negation he needed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
One loyalty on Teferi would have been the difference.
One loyalty, yeah, Teferi would have worked. Prismatic Ending. But Johnny's-
But with no mana available and only one land drop to give, I think Mikko can look at this and say,
Yeah.
you don't have an answer.
Johnny simply does not have enough mana here to deal with the Belcher.
He's going through the motions, but Mikko can just untap and fire away with Goblin Charbelcher.
Yeah, what a back and forth game here.
Crazy game 5. Johnny so close to completing the comeback, but it looks like he's going to fall just short here.
Yeah, he needed to get this Goryo's Vengeance combo going the turn earlier, because then he would have had the Force of Negation.
Exactly.
He's got so many resources, but it's not enough. All it takes is one artifact and one activation.
So Charbelcher hit the battlefield 3 times, and the 3rd time was the charm. He says, well, let's see if you put that island in. But
The basic land here, but there is no reason to.
And this is exactly the situation that Johnny found himself in yesterday, watching Mikko go through, and in this case, count to 23. That's 20.
21.
Yeah.
22.
And that's going to do it. Mikko Airaksinen advances to the semifinals in a hard-fought 5-game match against Jonny Guttman.
What an incredible match.
What a
Like,
match.
the way Mikko started off,
A great game.
you just thought for sure Mikko was going to make quick work here. He had such a good start, played so well. but Jonny Guttman fighting back. Game 3, game 4, nothing. Rips the Atraxa, takes that one, and then here, back against the ropes, rips the perfect card. It looks like everything is going Johnny's way, but Mikko just goes, well, there's no playing around anything. I'm just gonna keep playing Belchers until one resolves.
That's right, and he played Belcher, then replayed Belcher, then played Tezzeret for Belcher, and the third time was a charm for him. And yeah, I don't blame you, Mikko. That was an extremely stressful match.
Yeah.
He played it cool, you know, the finish chill, but you can tell that was very stressful.
I mean, you can tell how much it means to Mikko here. He's been playing Magic since 1999.
And
he's been playing competitively for a long time.
Yeah.
26 years, and we're now in the semifinals here. What a run so far.
Incredible stuff there from the Future Match area. We've got actually a chance to speak with Mikko as well. Let's hear from him right now.
Mikko Airaksinen has picked up a victory here in our quarterfinals. Tell us how that matchup went for you.
That was a crazy match. One of probably the best match of Magic I ever played in my life. Super interactive both ways. We played long, grinding games. Game 4, I even got stuck on one land for I don't know how many turns, and I still almost came back from that. And every game, like there was no games were over fast, and a lot of decision in all of them. And yeah, that's what I love about Magic. Like those are the best games for sure. Yeah.
You know what? We love max value, and you gave us that in that matchup. So congratulations for making it through to the semifinals. Now let's look ahead and think about who we want to face. Do you rather want to face off against Michael or Noe?
I think I'd rather play against Noe on Neoform. The mirror is interesting, to say the least. It's usually the mirror is yeah. I mean, Neoform is a good matchup. Mirror is whoever resolves the Belcher first wins. So yeah.
Alrighty. Well, Mikko, best of luck. We'll look forward to seeing who your opponent is, and then yeah, get ready for that matchup. Good luck.
An incredible opening quarterfinal match here in Atlanta. We've got 3 more of those to go, then the semis, and then the finals. It's going to be a great day. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Magic. Don't go anywhere.